Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com here for Texas Football Today at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention in Houston, joined by a Central Texas hot name in Central Texas, Galen Zimmerman of the Dripping Springs Tigers. You know, if you go 12-2, you tend to get noticed.
Well, you know, we had a great year. That was a thing. You know, we thought beginning of the year we had a chance. And of course, I'm lucky. We've got a couple classes of really, really good kids and good athletes, and then a great staff. You know, I put a lot of trust in those guys, a lot of responsibility on them, and you know, we've got an incredible coaching staff, and that's where it all starts. And then, you know, the community support we've had since I've been there is incredible. Yeah.
And you've had success before, but this was obviously just a big step forward for Drip. And what if you had to put a pin on it and you had to say this was the difference? What was it about that team?
Well, you know, I really say it started 3 years ago when we all got there, and there was an attitude of we want to be successful. You know, we want to do what it takes, and when, you know, we saw that, Coach McBride was the head coach when I got there and took over, and it really started then. We said, okay, these are the things you need to do to be successful. Are you willing to do that? And that first group said yes. And so it you know, and it trickled down, and every year we've had a little bit better season, but the buy-in's been the same. And so we've had, you know, 3 years in a row of kids that really were willing to commit, you know, to being successful and what it takes to do that in the state of Texas.
Now all you got to do is do it again.
Yeah,
that's you know,
that's the easy
just
part.
Just do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's fine. Do that every year. It's like getting yelled at from the stands to call the touchdown play.
Well, you know, it's like what Lou Holt said one time. I mean, you got to learn to compete, which we did. You got to learn how to win, which I feel like we did a little bit this last year. Now you got to learn how to handle winning, and once you do that, then you're ready to have true success.
You know, a question I've been asking a lot of coaches around here for your 2017 season. What are you going to hang your hat on? What is the part of your team that you're going to say this is where we win?
It's going to be that senior class.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a lot of kids coming back. You know, we didn't lose very many. The ones we lost are pretty good. You know, a 6'5" defensive end, a 6'4" defensive end, and then an outside backer that was 6'3" and started every game when he was in high school. But you know, we've got a lot of kids coming back, those seniors, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And I think our skill kids, we've got to replace the quarterback, but our skill kids are the ones that have, I think, the confidence, the swagger. You know, those are our leaders in both the secondary and on the offensive side of the ball. And those are the kids that really, you know, if they're going to be our hardest workers, we're going to be successful.
You know, one of the things that I think is super interesting is Central Texas has had such a renaissance in football just in the past decade or so. And it seems to me that every game you play, especially in your district, you're going up against a team that not only has talent, but is really well coached. And, you know, we talk a lot about how, like, there are no off games and stuff like that. But there are no off games for you as the guy who has to draw up the game plan because you're going up against a good coach on the other sideline.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. This state is full of great coaches, you know, coaching legends. And I don't care which part you're in. And yeah, we sit in an area, you know, north of us is Lake Travis, you know, just won a state championship and have
Max,
won
have
several.
You heard of them?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, south of us is Wimberley. They
do some stuff.
They've got 1, 2, and then, you know, Cedar Park is in the area. And so, you know, and you can name, you know, team after team. You know, Conley had a great year this last year. Georgetown's always tough. I mean, all around the area. So it's not easy, and I think that's what, you know, we had to get through over the last 3 years is you have to bring your best. You know, success is you versus you, really. And we're going to worry about us. We can't worry about who we play. And once we get past the name on the other side and we're going to work to our capacity, you know, then we're going to be okay.
Let me ask you a personal question. Do you trust bald coaches more? Are they more trustworthy?
Do I trust them more? Well, are they more trustworthy? Well, I'd like to say yes.
Yes,
I feel like
I presume yes.
A trustworthy person. Yeah, absolutely.
I just think it's a good look. I think it's sweeping the state. I think that, you look at the great coaches in the state, and they're saying, let's go with the shaved head.
Absolutely. I haven't paid for a haircut in probably a decade and a half.
Listen.
And he'll kill me, but my offensive coordinator played for me at Hebron. And I love to tell the story. He's a great kid. I still call him a kid. And he's going to make a great head coach someday. But I love to tell him it's not a coincidence that I had hair all my life and 1 year of coaching you, and it all went away.
Hey, listen. I'm just saying that's science, okay? That's how that works. All right, let's ruin a perfectly good interview with the Wheel of Questions. Give this thing a spin, and we'll see what question you'll be answering.
A little terrified right now.
Yeah, don't worry. Galen Zimmerman of Dripping Springs spinning the Wheel of Questions here for Texas football today. Which one did we get? Okay, perfect. You are, every time this gets landed, I'm like, okay. So I'm coming to a Dripping Springs home game. I want to go eat. I want to go eat beforehand.
Yep.
Where am I going to eat?
Well, and here's the thing. I think the town would not be happy with me if I didn't talk about our catfish.
Of course.
Fried catfish at the game. And so
really?
That is one of the big things at our home games is they fry catfish, and it's
like at the concession stand.
At the concession stand, and that's one of the big deals. And that was when we moved stadiums. We're opening a brand new stadium this year, and put it on campus. That they made sure of the home side, made sure it faced the right way, so they weren't looking in the sun, and then they made sure that they had the catfish parlor at the concession stand.
Hey Max, we need to make it to Dripping Springs. We got to see the new stadium. We got to eat some catfish. I mean, this is too good to be true.
Always welcome.
All right, Galen Zimmerman, Dripping Springs coach. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Best of luck in 2017.
Appreciate it.